Well, happy Thanksgiving week to everybody, and my camera's falling over. That's a great way to start a video. I hope everyone is doing well, and I hope all of you enjoy your Thanksgiving. I will probably be doing my premiere Thursday night that nobody may watch anyway, but I hope all of you are doing good. Hello, Joe, Monique, Loretta. I saw Klingon Princess in there somewhere. I think she already zipped off the screen. There she is. Um, Howdy, howdy, everybody. I won't even ask. Oh, um, okay. I gotta ask Joe, what were you baking, man? Because that's I'm super curious now. Um, I hope everyone has a really good weekend because it's been a really screwed up year. We all thought 2021 would be awesome, and not so. It's just been weird. It's just weird, and so just want to make sure. It looks like my audio is playing nicely. Let me double check and make sure. Yeah, no, it's everything's looks correct. French fries. Hey, Metal, what's going on? The new song called Pendejo. No, I want to find the new song called Pendejo. Is it on YouTube? That's a great way to start a does it count if I make jokes about Spanish people and I'm Hispanic? Like, because I want to see a song called Pendejo. Like, that sounds awesome because I'll send it to my kids just to annoy them. Let's see. Pendejo. Um, oh no, there's like 5 million pendejos here. I should know better than to put that word in YouTube. Anyway, okay, we might have to come back to that one. That sounds super interesting. Um, so gang, I hope all of you have some good plans going, and if nothing else, I hope you all just enjoy yourselves. Hey, Flower Child, how are you? And Loretta is baking cookies. I'm Latina, go for it. The heck yeah, and why not? You know what's funny? The Latinos make the worst jokes about themselves, and it's really bad. And then we piss off our relatives. You always have that one uncle or the drunk aunt who decides that, oh, the whole family's here. Now I'm going to say raunchy jokes so the children will repeat them in front of the pastor. Yeah, I had that aunt, and look what happened. Um, but I can't find. I went put pendejo into YouTube, and it was just this list of stupidity. And I'm like, okay, we could we could we could wind up searching there. Uh, oh, okay. No, I'm the roaming prepper on TikTok too. So and actually, one of my rants went viral a few weeks ago. I didn't realize it until my daughter called me and said, Dad, my best friend's mom saw you on TikTok. And I said, "You're kidding." And so I look back at the video she referenced. So, hey, Homestead, how are you? Mm, I've been pretty good. I've been laying off the sauce for a little bit, kind of let the body normalize. But the bourbon and ice was calling me tonight. So it's a nice mellow drink. My boss came up to me, or the secretary, and said, um, "You have vacation left over, and you're running out of year, and we're a use it or lose it company." So I was like, "Peace. I'll see you next year." So I'm gonna work like 5 days between now and New Year's, something like that, something silly. Hey, it's Lucky Dame. Someone else just snuck in there, but I didn't see him. Homestead Aquarius, hello, hello. Militant. Well, actually, Monique Pendejo is really just a dumbass. It depends on the context, but generally, like, it's one of those things, when the parents tell the kids, stop running in Walmart, and then the kid eats shit and they knock a display on themselves and they're with the baba coming down their face. That's typically when a father would be pendejo, get up, you know, because that's pretty much what I told my sons. And now they're pains in the asses actually, but that's the point. So yeah. Anyone, I have 120 and I have to burn. Can only oof. Well, if you subtract out the normal government days or typical days for Thanksgiving and Christmas, um, yeah, you and New Year's, you kind of don't have a lot of month left to burn those days. So I wanted to keep this one light because everything's been very stressful. I don't know if you guys watch. I'm sure you got a lot of you guys watch Tribe and Pinball and Angry. Um, Angry was cracking me up this week because he was uh, he was canning for the first time, and he put a picture of the steam coming out of the pot, saying, "Hope I don't blow myself up" or something like that. And I could see him kind of looking at it as a firefighter, going, "I'm not sure about that thing," but it looks like he was successful. He did a bunch of canning. So, hey, Shorty's in here. Hi, Shorty. So, I'm going to try and keep this one a little lighter. There are a few things we probably want to talk about because they're just weird. And I have like my 5 million screens in front of me, which is how I keep my brain from melting. But I do want to talk about the groceries and then recipes to get around the grocery shortage. That because I've been looking, and Bug Dude just popped in somewhere. There he is. And Sam, do not recommend. Well, I'll tell you what, Lucky, my daughter was making some pumpkin pies like a week and a half ago, and she called me. She's like, "Dad," and I'm like, "Child." She goes, "I can't find pumpkin. Pumpkin what? Pumpkin spice? Go to Starbucks." She goes, "No, the little can things." So I went to the store, and sure enough, they had just put them in the HEB. So I took like a half dozen because I use them to make treats for my dogs too. If, by the way, if your dog gets sick and they get the scoots or the throw ups, take that pumpkin puree from the can, put it in an ice cube tray and freeze it, and then pop them all out and put them in a Ziploc. And when your dogs get sick or they eat something they shouldn't and they eat grass and they're like, "Ugh," in the living room, you give them one of those and give them about 20 minutes. It's like Pepto for dogs. Um, Monique made cornbread. Oh, I want to see pictures of the cornbread. That looks good. And yes, also sweet potato. And I got to get my daughter on one of these because been a vet tech for 7 years. Um, she was telling me all sorts of things she's seen lately between people adopting animals during the Rona, then getting laid off, then um, the abandonment of animals, but also people not knowing how to take care of animals on a budget. And she had all sorts of insights, and I wouldn't do it justice regurgitating it. So I'm going to try and get her on probably week after Thanksgiving. And you guys will like her. She's quite a Valkyrie, and she's got a good potty mouth when she gets in a rile. So, yeah, definitely my kid. But in any case, I'm going to share some news. There's some serious news on the front end, just because I find the timing very odd that this would be brought up. To make my cornmeal to Canada operation. Pumpkin puree and rice. Do you blend it in a blender or you just like mix it with a spoon and then, here you go, doggies. Um, Cornbread for Canada. I gotta ask what the cornbread for Canada is. Costco, it was insane. By the way, canned green beans drain out the water and dogs love it. I also found out dehydrated broccoli. I put a bunch of broccoli in the dehydrator and I put them in the storage and I had some left over. Hey, Hutch, what's going on? And I started cornmeal cartel, and I started feeding the dogs started eating it. They loved it. So dehydrated veggies, also a popular thing for the critters. Um, like I said, I'm going to do a couple of more serious things that I thought were just weird. The timing was, yeah, Lucky, don't give your dog tamales. We had one that actually got a tamale Actually, he got a whole bag of Whataburger before we stopped him, and he wound up chained to a tree outside because there was no way I couldn't bring him in. No, the farts alone would clear the room, much less what actually came after. No, he was out there pouting on the tree the whole night. Um, this is probably the shortest article I've seen in a while on something so important. But top defense generals from Russia and the United States spoke over the phone on Tuesday. Russia's defense ministry said amid Western fears that Moscow might be plotting to invade the Ukraine. A lot of folks, hey, what's up? Um, a lot of folks have been talking about it off and on, but Russia had 50,000. They've been doing this for years, right? They bring a bunch of troops to the border, they thump their chests, and they run away. Well, they've got over 100,000 now. And I find it odd that the generals are talking. Uh, and what concerns me even more is that uh, we don't have a agreement, a specific defense agreement. Hey, good evening, Brad. With Actually, it wasn't the corgi. We had a big black lab mixed with German Shepherd named Harley. And when I say he was big, his head was like about a foot and a half wide. He was just this massive beast of an oaf, who feared nothing. Hey, Hudson, what's going on? Who feared nothing but the thunderstorms, which is the sky dog barking at him, and the fire alarm. If the fire alarm went off, that beep beep beep, he was gone. If someone comes in with a bat, breaks into the house, he's screwed. Harley would have killed him. He was big enough to kill a human, but he comes in with that stupid fire alarm and beeps at him. The dog was gone. I don't know what it was saying to him, but he was out. But Rangersley, hoorah. Yes, but the engineers have to build the bridges for the tanks to come behind. So I used to say that to some of the Rangers. They get annoyed with me. But heck yeah, no, I'll tell you what. Having the Rangers around when you're building stuff, definitely a happy thing. So I got another one, and this is probably the last of the really serious shit I'm gonna throw up there today because I want to keep it light for Thanksgiving week. Hey, Ghetto Prepper, what's going on? So these two articles came from two different sources, and they happen to pop in within a day of each other. And what's that? Sounds about Samado. Wow, that's just a big dog. Well, the Pyrenees, we fostered Pyrenees, and they're just massive, and they're super chill. But God, if you trip on one in the middle of the night, that's not good. The dog loses, you lose. It's just everybody's unhappy. Hey, Blue Sky, how are you? If I missed anyone in the chat, I apologize. The chat sped by real quick. Um, the timing, and I love the dialogues there or the narratives they're creating here. The US's refusal to accept reality in Ukraine could get a lot of people killed. Basically saying the US is continuing to offer security assurances to Ukraine, but do we want to actually get into that? Like strategically, I know Ukraine is our friend, but strategically, does that make sense? We just left Afghanistan and not in a very good way. But let's go into Europe and fight another superpower because that makes sense. Because that wouldn't be a shit show. So, and I don't know if maybe the president's saying we're going to supply equipment. I know the Ukrainian army now has Javelin rockets, which are massively useful anti-tank and low-flying aircraft. So I'm pretty sure um, the Russians are not happy knowing that we gave the not the Taliban, the Mujahideen stingers back in the 80s. So they're probably giving us the one eye. But yeah, the meeting between two officials came as Moscow stationed 90,000 troops near the Ukrainian border, leading many to fear a large scale Russian invasion of eastern Ukraine could be imminent. The United States, President Biden said the United States remains firmly committed to Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity in the face of aggression. Uh, the U.S. supports Ukraine's right to decide its own future foreign policy, free of outside interference, including joining NATO. And of course, then they have these symbolic soldiers here with the tank that looks like it's stuck in the mud. So they're probably waiting for the staff sergeant to come over and chew their asses. But in any case, yeah, that's tripped over my Dutch Shepherd. Oh, that's not good. Enough material for future conflict. Yeah, definitely. And yeah, proxy wars all the way. Well, we've been doing that throughout the Cold War. I mean, other than Korea, really, the Korean War was a proxy war between us and China, indirectly. Then the Chinese troops literally came into Korea and almost ran us out of the peninsula. Uh, yeah, Vietnam was the same. The VC and the NVC, they were Russian sponsors, so or sponsored by Russia. So wait, what happened? Did something get? Well, I don't know what Klingon was referring to, but I appreciate whatever it was. Um, but in any case, yeah, they're busting. Yeah, heads up, guys. They are busting some of the channels for some really ridiculous stuff right now. So yeah, definitely, if you could keep me out of the penalty box, that would be most awesome. But guys, the grocery shortages, for whatever reason, and those of you who are here in Texas, maybe you can help me. Uh, the censorship's fairy strikes again. You know, sometimes it happens, man. It's just uh, so for whatever reason, Texas ran out of celery. Now I thought it was just the local because I'm out in West Texas. So I'm like, okay, we're smaller demographic, probably have less supplies. We reached out to friends on Facebook. We're jokingly, oh, I can't find celery. Nobody. In Houston, one of our friends hit 7 stores: Sam's, Costco, HEB, Kroger, Albertsons, whatever it's called now. Nothing. And why the celery? Who hoarded celery? Like it makes no sense. Then you think about it, it's Thanksgiving, so people are making stuffing, they're getting ready, so everyone's buying up groceries. So I think I think some of this shortage for the next week or so is really demand induced. It's just people are going on Thanksgiving break. But I did find this one interesting, and I'm gonna bring this up for you guys. This is Eat This Not That. That's literally the name of the channel. So let's talk about this one here because that's kind of funny. Um, yeah, prices are definitely up too. Hey, Appalachia, how are you? Oh, no doubt, no doubt. And I'm pretty sure you were not the only one. And Militant, I've got some friends who may well have been out there with you with the specific MOS that you mentioned earlier. So you may actually know some of these cats, but that one will take offline. But yeah, I may need to reach out. Mm. So according to them, this is what's going to be maybe short for Thanksgiving week: canned beer and soda. Isn't canned beer always short this time of year? I mean, you got football, you got hockey, you're barbecuing. Like that's not really a big surprise. Cranberry was no, that we had out the wazoo, Appalachia, but we couldn't find celery. It's just so weird. See, and again, favorite food I dispute this because you think about it. What are you eating with the soda and the beer? Snack fruits. And Walmart pasta was almost total. Really? No, we had pasta up here. Maybe everyone was making spaghetti for pre-Thanksgiving. I don't know. That's strange. Okay, why are we hoarding? Why are they short on toilet paper again? I thought people figured that out. The food items. Well, lucky, it's funny you say that. So there's a component of the petrochemicals, each barrel of oil, they call it coke, but that's not the technical word for it. It's whatever the element is. That that coke is used, that chemical compound is actually used in aluminum production. So when they totally shut off oil production, it affects plastics, it affects aluminum, it affects synthetics, and not just fuel. So a lot of the folks who are, making the rigs go to sleep don't realize that all this is tied together. You can't just remove an entire petrochemical entity without affecting a bunch of other stuff. Hey, Sophia, how are you? See, that would have freaked out my teenagers. I think they'd have died. They'd have gotten over it, but they'd have died. Pasta goes in spurts here. All pasta, not just spaghetti, all of it. Huh. You know what? Militant, you're absolutely right. Again, some of the chemicals just screw things up. But toilet paper was number three. Disinfecting products. It's kind of like Rona 2.0. I just don't understand some cuts of meat, but not all of them. So yeah, a lot of it's very regional and it's very stupid. Um, but again, this is Thanksgiving week. Of course, people are buying flour. Half of you guys just said you were baking. I mean, yeah, everyone's cooking up a storm, as Sophia put. So, right, and lucky is I know you're in Texas, but if you're not in one of the main distribution centers, and then there's the flip side, Houston gets big supplies, but Houston has a huge population density. Same with Dallas and Austin. Once you get out of the bigger cities in San Antonio, then you have less population, but you may be less likely to get supply. You're lower on the food chain. Yeah. Twinkle. Hey, Jeep, what's going on? So flour's another one. Apparently cheese, which will go hand in hand with the meats. Cheese was another one, and food storage items. See, a lot of this stuff sounds silly because to me, this is exactly the stuff you lose every Thanksgiving. So that wasn't earth-shattering, but they are predicting a few shortages between the screwed up supply chain and the fact that now there's demand for the holiday. Start your cooking sooner than later. I mean, we got all our ingredients. We're going to start cooking tomorrow uh, to pre-do the side dishes for the main dish on Thanksgiving Day. So again, it's just one of those things, guys. You're going to have to watch for uh, the prices aren't going to go down. We all know there's inflation. I don't think they're doing the things needed to. No, and Joe, it's always the aristocracy with their let them eat cake mentality are the ones who do fine. They don't suffer, right? It's the rest of us have to live and bipolar stocks. You know, Flower Child, I have not heard that one. I don't know if anybody can comment on this question. salt was going to be a shortage also. I'm assuming you're referring to like processed salt for table food. Uh, Out of all milk. It's funny, Militant. The During Harvey, I went to like top off some. Actually, it was Hurricane Ike. I went to top off some miscellaneous things, and there was a family was desperately looking for milk, and I said, "Have you guys checked the baking aisle?" And this was a young couple, and they just gave me the deer in the headlights look. Like, why would I look in the baking aisle? I said because the evaporated milk and milk powder and like you should have seen they were in shock. I said, "Come with me." I had to walk them and show them. And they're like, "Is it good?" I'm like, "I've never drank this stuff. I mean, I put it in recipes, but I'm sure you can consume it. Especially you have kids. The kids will figure it out. Put some chocolate in it, make chocolate weird milk, and off you go." So yeah, people don't think for the alternatives, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. Oh wow, I did not know that, but that is not surprising. The one thing I don't like, and really it's not a food stamp anymore, it's the stupid little card, the WIC card or whatever it's called, not the Wix. Yeah, yeah, you basically that's their solution so people aren't standing in line because if people were actually in line waiting for food, the press would freak out. But you can hide it by putting it on a debit card. So everyone around me is getting pandemic food stamps, which is for people who, yeah. Well, that sucks. I clearly can't type. Sorry, let's try this again. And you know what? They may have gotten a big shipment for the Thanksgiving weekend or the pre-Thanksgiving weekend. Thank you. It's an EBT card, but there's a name for it. Maybe it's Texas, but like they have a little name for it. Like there's WIC, Women, Infant, Children, but there's another one. It's like SNAP, uh, Supplemental Nutrition, something or other. But yeah, they're all EBT cards, but they give you that, and people go and buy stuff instead of having to wait in line like they used to. So a few folks talking about salt, trying to get verification. Yeah, some spices are in short supply, so if you need spices, go ahead and get them. I do have a good one for you guys, and this one I think you'll enjoy. The Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree is now the $1.25 tree, and that's just funny. President and CEO Michael Witinsky blamed inflation for the needs to bump up prices, but insisted that Dollar Tree customers will roll with the price tag punches. So, yeah, Dollar Tree is now a $1.25 tree. So that's just funny. Yeah, no, Joe, I've seen the same here. The standard 9 is down about 15. It's a little bit more than it used to be. Yeah, and you know what? The neither lasts what about a year? I've actually got some cans of that because my brother and I had conversations years ago that if something were to happen there, because he's closer to the coast in Louisiana, he would wind up coming here, sending his family here. And if something were to happen in the refineries out here, I'd go that way. So we've kind of prepped not just for ourselves, but kind of with the contingency that we might have a plus one, like a niece or a nephew or something show up inadvertently or abruptly, and ta-da, I got an extra mouth to feed. So yeah, I just find it funny because they're always like, "Oh, it's a dollar store, and now it's $1.25." It's like the old five and dimes that don't even exist because you have to go to Mexico to get candy for 5 cents. And you can't get it here. Hard time finding Claritin. Okay, in Appalachia, spot on. If you guys have an FSA, a flexible spending account, you can buy a lot of over-the-counter meds. using that, just save your receipts in case they want verification. Places like HEB and United, they code those products such that when you put the FSA card, it will automatically just charge those individual things to that card, and then you pay for the rest of your groceries with the normal debit card. Uh, yeah, and Ghetto put something good here. Yeah, no, that's spot on. And you want to try to beat those crowds. And actually, I got an article here talking about those crowds and whatnot. So, can baby have goat milk or allergic to that as well? Well, that's good. So, yeah, and all of us who are getting raises are probably going to wind up getting. Hey, Pilgrim, is Pilgrim in here somewhere? There he is. I have not seen this guy in a while. I did see his video the other day. I'm glad to see you, Bubba. Um, so let's look at this other stuff here because I just thought that some of this is relevant, right? Again, and the reason I'm bringing this stuff up is because it's Thanksgiving and a lot of us are going to be on the road. So here we go. Let's see. Is there really a food shortage? This is Green Matters. I haven't really vetted this site. Um, at the onset of the Rona, lockdowns in the U.S. panic grocery shoppers. Blah blah blah. Um, is there a food shortage? Technically, there aren't food shortage officially, but there are supply chain disruptions which are creating shortages in the. Uh, so I'm gonna have to cut my budget 20%. Um, and makes you wonder because there's too many things happening all at once. Uh, yeah, they're saying current shortages result from a combination of increased demand and tightening supplies. And part of it is people got caught flat-footed last year, and they're like, "No, hell no! I'm going to keep an inventory at my house like a real pantry." Um, and the stores weren't ready for that either. So yeah, there's going to be some of this, guys. And it is good to see Pilgrim. I know he's been super tied up with stuff at home and work. So no, my son would get messed up with soy. We did that once. That will never happen again. Um, and so even from, let's see what these guys say. So this is from November 22nd, so it's a couple of days old. And again, we're going to see those supply chain issues, guys. And especially as we get into and this one is from South Bend Tribune, and basically even the food distribution centers, the pantries, and even school districts are struggling with trying to provide. Let me see if I can get this one going here. Provide food now, and this one breaks my heart in particular because we used to have backpack buddies in Houston, which the kids whose parents were struggling and they didn't have something to eat on the weekend could go to the school and they got a little paper bag and and they could take it home and it had like two sandwiches, two apples, just to make sure the little kids could eat during the weekend. And so a lot of impoverished kids, kids who are economically having issues, um, they rely on the school districts. And when a school district with all its purchasing power and political authority cannot buy food in a sufficient way, that's a problem. And again, it all feeds into that dark winter that we've all been beaten up. uh it's concerning. Yeah. So yeah, and again, you don't just prep for yourself if you can help out a neighbor. We have a neighbor down the street who and they're young, y'all, like in their 30s, and I don't know what it was, stress or something. The husband had a cardiac issue. And so right in the middle of the Rona, the poor guy had to go to the hospital with that. And so neighbors have been kind of keeping an eye on the house, helping him mow the lawn. So you never know, you might have to help a neighbor. That can hopefully pay dividends if you have an emergency. People can help you. So, just pay attention to this stuff, guys. This is, unfortunately, I think we all agree, this is not transitory inflation like our friend in the potatoes house said. So yeah, that comment didn't impress me. So, and you see, Shorty, that's well, oh, I get it. Yeah. Well, I grew up in New York, uh, back when Times Square was full of like hookers and drug dealers and whatnot. So it wasn't all bougie like it is now. So yeah, I remember those days. And yeah, if the kids don't get food there, they'll struggle. Um, and see, that's another case where if you have a family member that doesn't prep, it's not them. They can starve if they're stupid, but you're worried about the kids because the kids are innocent and nobody's really watching out for them. So it's funny you say that, man. We had taken a vacation and there was a lot of money being thrown around that didn't seem right. And I asked the bartender, and we had paid for this vacation a while ago, right? It was just something we had planned. And the bartender's like, no, that's the stimulus money vacation. I'm like, isn't that supposed to be for like their rent and groceries while they're unemployed? He goes, but they want to come here and spend it. I can't stop them. And I'm like, nope. Uh, Pints of stew. If I don't have it now, you may not have. Well, if you see it, you may not see it for a while for sure, Homestead. So I would definitely, if you need it or it's something, you keep it on your radar. And when you find it, if you can purchase it, limits or no limits, get what you need. No. Yeah, and the little ones, yeah, and the little ones need that help. And so, folks, keep an eye on your neighbors. If you see they're struggling, if nothing else, if you can help out their kids, um, it may not give you dividends here. I believe on the other side of my life, I'm going to have a conversation with some people way more important than anyone of this world. And I want to at least be able to say I tried to do some good things while I was out here. Uh, but yeah, the kids, yeah, that's tough. So yeah, absolutely, Appalachia, I'm right there with you. So in light of the shortages, how do we get around it, right? Business approach. When a business runs out of components, they run out of a supplier, you look for alternatives, and the corgis are alive. Yep, and there goes UPS. They hate that truck. I just that truck. Uh, they hate the UPS truck. Anyway, I've got 5 kids in my woof, brother. Hey Larry, how are you? Um, Ooh, then you're gonna have to plan the Pampers too. I think Shorty just mentioned something up here about the same thing. There we go. And to this point, folks, if you have friends who, even if they're not preppers, if they're at least a demon, it is the demon truck. Uh, Even if they're not preppers, if they're people who are willing to help you, tell them, hey, if you see size whatever Pampers and they're under $10 a box or whatever the price is, and I'm sure it's a heck of a lot more, let me know or grab them for me and I'll Venmo you the money or I'll give you cash. Um, Try to see if you can get, so basically you're expanding your purchasing footprint. if you can't be at every store, but your friends can, even if they live in the next town over, they find some Pampers there. They know you have you Pampers or the Nido milk that Klingon mentioned, or something like that. Grab what you have. Tell them grab what they see. If it's under a certain price, it usually helps. So, like, if somebody tells me, "Hey, if on the way, if I'm visiting a relative in the other side of Texas, and they say, hey, on the way, I can't find, I don't know, the pumpkin," like my daughter said, and she said, if it's under a buck and a half, grab one for me. So I'm going to hit a few stores on the way home because I'm going to have to stop and get gas and go pee and get lunch. I'm going to hit the stores and I'm just going to see and give them a price point. Say if you can get it around this price, and get me a few, and see if you can have people to help. If it gets really bad, Five Virgins, absolutely. That and those of you who grew up in city, I don't know what city uh, Ghetto grew up in. I know a few of you guys grew up or lived in different cities, but like you look at Manhattan, like where Jason is right now, and there's five bridges and three tunnels. Okay, that can become. You saw what happened in 9/11. All the people tried to leave and they got locked in, basically. Um, Trying to get in and out of major cities that are not adjacent to large plots of land is going to be a challenge. Whereas Houston people can fan out in all sorts of directions for hundreds, if not 1,000 miles, and have room to kind of spread out. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like I alluded to earlier, the Ukrainian situation, the China situation. If something pops off, the bombing that happened in London, and I'm still trying to get straight answers on like straight reasons for what happened there. Uh, okay, so California up to Portland. And hey, Donna, how are you? Um, yeah, well, then you'd understand if you're Portland, LA, Bakersfield's inland, so it's really a different type of city. But a lot of them, you have limited options to get in and out, and if the supply chain gets more squirrely than it is, trying to leave with the other 4 million people of the city is going to be a disaster. Um, and man, that bourbon is really good. That's Maker's Mark for those of you like your bourbons. So I was thinking, what can we do? Let's say you can't find a turkey, or someone you know can't find one, or uh, they can't find one, or you can't find one, whatever, and they're trying to think for alternatives. So I found this page that I thought was really cool for the New York Times. And by the way, this is exactly what we as preppers should be doing. Is again, I revert to the business concepts, right? The company runs out of components. You're looking for other suppliers. You're looking for other ways to make your product. Um, this was the options for alternative Thanksgiving dinners. And I gotta tell you, that holiday glazed ham looks really freaking good. Uh, Easy roast duck. Not a big fan of duck, a little bit, but not too much. The prime rib roast. So there are other things you can find that you can make use of. For those of you like this one here, man, that this is well, maybe if it decides to load, now I'm gonna get a commercial. Ah, okay. Well, this article sucks then. Okay, never mind. I guess we're not gonna see that article. So I made it angry apparently. But now one person even said they were going to make a ground turkey lasagna as their Thanksgiving meal. Um, yes, definitely bourbon's good, especially when it's cold out there. Oh, I can imagine. I don't doubt that at all. Yeah. Hey, Sophia, take care and stay safe, and be safe on the road if you're traveling. So uh, I want Thanksgiving tacos al pastor. Oh yeah, definitely. And why not? I mean, who says you have to have turkey? You can have whatever you want. Um, Heck, one year was just me and Mama. We went to a restaurant and got a steak and lobster for Thanksgiving. So, Flower Child, I misread that. I have three butts in my freezer. I have not drank anywhere near enough bourbon to not read that well. Um, can find some, yeah, and like I've mentioned before, I've gotten to know some of the beef providers. Heck, there's one guy I can't find his paper. Hold on. So this was a local rancher out here, my part of Texas. Uh, New York's his let's see, his fajita was $5 a pound, but fresh, farm fresh, or $4. Sorry. He has filet for 20. I'm seeing it for 40 at the store a pound. So actually, there's one here. Brined roast chicken. So what I'll do for you guys, and it may give you the link of death and say it doesn't love you, but I'll put it out there anyway. Um, they have some really neat recipes: beef Wellington, twice cooked pork tenderloin. Um, yeah, there's all sorts of recipes out here. So I mean, get creative, guys. There's no reason that you guys should not celebrate because the marketing gods have said you must have turkey. You want to have freaking pumpkin pie. You want to have a pizza and drink a lot of beer. That's legit. You're being thankful for pizza and beer. And in my book, that's cool. So um, definitely make sure you find those alternatives. And you should be doing this anyway as as preppers. You're always looking for those alternative products because things do go short. If you can't find a different source, find a different product. Uh, then this one, let's see, I got another one. Oh no. All right, maybe not. Let's try that again. I do hear. Wow, that's exciting. Well, this is just a page full of pies, which I'm okay with, but okay, let's see what we got here. There we go. I got it. Sorry, guys. Bye, Appalachia, and stay safe, hon. Well, folks, look, this one here, get you a few more. Uh, yeah, this is McCormick. This is a spice company to what Lucky said earlier about. Oh, that's a big link. Sorry about that. I didn't realize that was going to be like that. But they've got all sorts of recipes for gravy stuffing, how to use your leftovers if you're not canning them, like somebody said. Um, I'm trying to get the. Oh, there we go. Leftover turkey chowder, sausage stuffing muffins. You could also put the turkey in an omelet. You could put it in a breakfast taco. You just got to throw the spices around a little. Um, Turkey quesadillas. I mean, who wouldn't want turkey quesadillas? So we're still pure. All right, little boots. Thank you very much. God bless you. Stay safe and be careful on the road. So, yeah, guys, don't let anything go to waste. We all know there's inflation, there's shortages, supply chains crap. Figure out a way to make use of what you have. So, waste not, want not, right? So, before we close it out, and that's not what I wanted to pull up because that makes no sense. I don't know how I got that gibberish. Um, Guys and girls, for those of you who are going to travel, and you guys know I travel a boatload, um, get what was that about? There's no truck now, so I have no idea why she's barking. Where's Super? Well, we actually I did a tetrazzini with, I did the wide, actually, I was going to use wide linguine. I used a bow tie pasta, but I replaced the chicken with the turkey when we made the turkey broth for Thanksgiving. And then I threw frozen veggies, and it basically was almost all from my preps, with the exception of the turkey that I had left over from the turkey wings. Yeah, and Lucky's got a great recipe there. If you can, ooh, that's a good question, folks. Can anyone help Larry with this question? Anyone bought the Harvest Right freeze dryer? So, but yeah, folks, going back to this, get your car ready for a road trip. Before you hit the road, check your batteries, check your lights. Don't get a ticket. That would just suck. Um, there you go. There's another one. Turkey pot pie is a good one too. Oh yeah. Um, top off your fluids if you're going to go get that oil change, or get the filter swapped out. Now's a great time to do it before you hit the road. Um, Also, don't forget to make sure you have physical maps of where you're going. Don't just rely on the interwebs, because if the interwebs goes down and you're in the middle of a strange state, you could wind up. So yeah, check your vehicle. Make sure you. I just lost my train of thought. Too many screens going at once. Um, Make sure you have some cash. Have that physical map in case the interwebs goes out, as I was saying, because what you don't want to do is have the you're in a strange state and your internet goes out and you don't know where the hell you're going. You want to at least get back to a main highway. It may take you longer, but it would be better than getting caught in the roads in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, no, Stuart, okay, so there's a story here. For some reason, Stuart wound up on the mute. I went into my channel, took everyone off the mods, took off the mods, took off, there's two dudes that I blocked. One was insulting people, which I didn't like, and it wasn't funny insults. He was just being a douche. The other one was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Took them both out, and then I started putting people back, and then I had to refresh something else, and then I saw you pop up on one of the other chats, and I said, "Okay, I think it worked," but now you've definitely confirmed it. Um, I don't know what happened, dude. No idea. Uh, but yeah, Stuart's back. Um, Trekking through Afghanistan. Why would you want to go there? Anyway, um, a lot of good expert vagabond. Of course, Allstate, the insurance companies don't want you to have wrecks. It costs them money. Uh, and oh, Lucky found the review for the Harvest Right for those of you who are interested. So make sure you have your insurance up to date. Make sure your vehicle's in good shape. Don't take for granted that just because the car gets you to and from work, it'll get you across like Texas or a 5-hour trip. True. Afghanistan is a beautiful country when you're not involved in the ugly. Um, and actually, I've heard they have really robust mineral deposits there, which is very interesting to think about. Um, because now China is all interested in going to that country, and I'm like, yeah, good luck with that, guys. Uh, but the so they do have, yeah, I thought they had some robust mineral deposits. So guys, make sure you take the time to plan out your trips, get those physical maps of where you're going. I mean, if you've been there 15 times, probably not a big deal. If you're going to a strange city or if you're going to a different state, stop at the travel center right on the border. They have the visitor center, welcome to Michigan, welcome to Louisiana. Pull in there and ask them if they have a state map. Almost everyone, I mean, 90% of the time I've asked, they give me a free state map, which then goes in my glove box. So I have a map of all of the surrounding states of Texas that I've gone to so far. I have reasons to go to. So Oklahoma, Louisiana, New Mexico. I have maps for all of them. I haven't had to go north into, like Kansas or anything like that. Keep those maps. Now, that's something you should also have at home if you have to bug out, or even worse, you have to leave your home during an emergency to recover someone and bring them back. You want to be able to have the map if the cell towers go down. That has proven something that you could. Yes, that I'd like to say you can tune that out, but you really can't tune something like that out. That's that's awful stuff. Uh, oh yeah, no doubt. So yeah, check out the freeze dryers. Canning is a good option, so you could save your extra food. But while you're traveling, guys, take your time. Check your weather conditions because we're getting really erratic weather. I mean, Canada just got hammered over in British Columbia. So, this was 50 best travel tips. I won't go through all of them, but be patient. Wake up early. I'm a big fan of getting up early on a road trip if we can. I'll pack everything or leave it like in the hallway the night before. So I get up 5:30, we have coffee, have a quick breakfast, throw our crap in the truck, boom, we're gone. Oh no, no worries, man. We've got a few Bravo designations in our family too. 11 Bravos in particular, a few 31s also. So yeah, I think and that sense of humor is not far removed from the energy sector because you stay out in a hard hat in the sun and then every now and then get run up your pickup truck by an angry pig. You start getting a weird sense of humor too. Uh, but yeah, no, your sense of humor is absolutely awesome, brother. Um, it gives you some generic things like keep an open mind, blah blah blah. But important things: take your time, plan out your route. Make sure your medical insurance, and if you have like a medical card, expense card, and the medical ID card, Blue Cross, Cigna, whatever, have it with you. Also, make a photocopy of it or take a picture of it with your phone. Keep it on your phone. In the event you lose your wallet in an emergency and you're on the road, you have a digital copy that you can show and they can try to call it in. Oh man. Okay, we definitely need to get in touch, bro, because that's just getting too funny. Um, but yeah, they didn't. The governor gave them a deadline, and none of them are. I think part of them will make it, and the rest won't. Um, but he said they're going to get a fine, and then they have another year to finish, or they get another fine. I don't know how it works, but yeah, take the time to plan out your trips. Uh, check your weather patterns, and also with all the recent civil unrest with the court cases, the only reason we don't see cities burning right now is because it's Thanksgiving weekend and people are visiting families. My fear is as soon as the holiday is over, people are going to flip their shit again, or some will. Well, I'm wrong because yesterday or day before yesterday, a dude crashed into the Christmas parade. So this year, situational awareness is going to be even more important, not just because people steal your Christmas gifts or they pickpocket you in the mall or whatever. Um, Now we have people being insane and they're being violent and they think it's okay. So plan your excursions, and folks, if you go somewhere and it doesn't feel right, there's a bad energy in the crowd, or people are kind of being rambunctious and picking fights, leave. Come back again. I promise you, usually the stupid ones aren't up at 8 in the morning. So go in the morning, get your tourism done, and then go somewhere else. Uh, there's been a lot of weirdness, and I sadly think it is not the end of it all. Um, People are just now looking for excuses to lash out. So, well, yeah, it's and normally this time in Five Virgins, normally this time of year would be along the lines of, hey, don't watch your purse, lock your car, don't leave gifts visible in your SUV, your normal generic. Oh yeah, we're shopping thievery kind of thing. Or maybe you left your car unlocked and they broke into your car and stole your wallet. While your wallet would be in your car overnight blows my mind, but it happens all the time. Um, Maybe too cold, but I also think it's the holiday. Maybe the weather's helping, which is a good thing actually. If it rains and pisses raining snow on people, they're not going to want to riot because that sucks. I mean, who wants to be out in that? But keep in mind, you could very easily. Thanks, Donna. Be safe, y'all. Uh, Maintain that situational awareness more so this year than normal, not just for the pickpockets and the thieves, but because of yeah. And if you're gonna travel, stay with places you're familiar with, uh, if you can, and yeah, keep your travel to a minimum, and get familiar with your area. I've actually, and I have videos. I don't even know if I released it yet. I'm still editing one where I go through how I do my pre-trip planning before I make a trip, specifically on an airline. Because keep in mind, if I drive in Texas, uh, yeah, well, it's a statistics thing, ghetto. You're putting the percentages in your favor, right? You have a rambunctious concert or a quiet, pancake breakfast. Go with the pancake breakfast, right? Less likely to have a mosh pit breakout in IHOP. Uh, yeah, it's all a statistical game. Put the odds in your favor. I know that sounds kind of like Hunger Games, but and dash cams are a good thing. So be safe. I'm going to close this one out, boys and girls, because I think Gray's coming on in 10 minutes or less. And to everyone, like I said, I may be premiering a video Thursday like I normally do, maybe 6 o'clock ish. So y'all catch it on the replay. I will leave the chat open. So if those of you who are on there, y'all can commiserate with each other. But otherwise, I will probably not do a Saturday. I might do a short on Saturday and catch everyone next week. Like I said, burning up vacation days. Guys, y'all be good, be safe. Thank you, Ghetto, and be safe out there, brother. And Militant, I don't know if your email's on your page. I'm gonna have to find you somehow, or email me. My email's on the YouTube channel. And you guys be safe, be careful, stay righteous, and enjoy Thanksgiving, man. This is a blessing, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the family, and if you have to eat freaking pizza, eat pizza. Who gives a shit? It's about rejoicing in what things you do have. So y'all take care. God bless, and I will see you. I guess next week, at least for the next live. Take care, guys. Oh, and there goes my pen. Take care, guys.